You said it wasn't your choice, and I'm saying too bad.
No, I just
so
paying
I think
respect.
We can start.
Okay, so let me switch that off.
All right. Hello, everybody. Are we ready to begin? Is everybody here?
Rome. Okay, now we are online. Let's start.
Yes.
Welcome all.
Let's start.
Hey.
Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome to the TON Weekly live stream. As always, it's a pleasure to have you all join us. As you can see, we decided to liven things up a little with some music to make everybody comfortable. I hope nobody thought they came to the wrong channel. We'll be doing this every week. We'll be choosing a new song. Anyway, we're going to have 3 topics to cover today, each of which is very important. I know a lot of you are waiting for updates, so we'll be presenting them live. The first is going to be a technical update regarding the main network, which I know concerns everyone. The second topic is going to be, we're going to talk about the Crystal Game Validators contest. We're going to update you on the status and the next steps that need to be followed. And finally, we're going to talk about the contest voting results and functionality, meaning how is it going to work? What's it going to look like? And I know, again, so many of you have been waiting patiently to see what is going to come of it, and you're going to get that information today. We'll describe it in as much detail as possible. And after that, we're going to have our standard rounds of Q&A from YouTube viewers, from write-in questions, and from within the group itself during the call. So with that said, let's begin. And who wants to start us off today?
Let me start maybe from the technical update and the mainnet update. So, okay. So as you know, we have been announcing problems. You could probably see this last week. So it happened on Sunday last week, and well, not on this Sunday beforehand, as you all know. So the mainnet stopped, and we were busy basically for the most part of the week with some of our top engineers to research and to provide a fix for the problem. And we did. So the mainnet is working now, and I will go deeper a little bit about what happened now. But beforehand, so the status is that mainnet is working from Friday, I think, from Friday or Thursday, don't remember already, like it's all one day for me now. And it's working, but the cluster was not synced, so that's why you couldn't see anything on TON Live. Now it is synced, but we are purposely not yet opening it because we need to perform some procedure on the mainnet before we open the clusters. And this procedure will start. It's actually already started. There will be some patches that need to be applied, and we will obviously provide the details to the validators about these patches, and I will also tell you what these patches are and how it's all going to work. And same thing will going to happen to the game network, so guess you need to kind of follow that closely. So first, what happened? We had 2 versions of the node. It's the same thing as happened to game 1 and then subsequently game 2 when they stopped after the elections, because more than 33% of the nodes were actually working on a different version of the node. And that happened because the TON blockchain from Telegram repository had a version of the node higher than the version of the node that we have used for the as a basic version. And the reason for that is because the last patch from Telegram went out at the day of the 7th of May, I think. There was a later patch already also, but the first patch came out, like the first of the latest 2 patches came out on 7th of May. Obviously, we could not check that. We could not, test it, and obviously, so we decided not to apply any patches before we go with the main network launch, and then with the normal testing scenario, which is basically first test any new software on some private networks, then move it to DevNet, and then if everything works correctly, after a certain time, move it to mainnet. The problem that is that the versioning control of the blockchain works, or should I say, doesn't work in a special fashion. And then a second problem was that the actual patch has provided basically incompatible with the previous versions. And the incompatibility came about when the validators of the different versions created separate sessions, two separate sessions, which was accepted by all of the validators for the same block. Basically, we had a block, same block, validated in two different cat chain sessions. Now, this is a bug. It's a node bug, meaning that it's not only version control bug, it's a bug deeper than that. There should be a protection against this kind of things, and the findings will be obviously I will transfer today to the Telegram team as well, and we also applied certain patches, but we didn't yet fix the problem itself. So we're going to fix that in the Rust node, and we'll see if Telegram is gonna or not fix it in their implementation. If not, then someone else from the community could step up. Could you please mute, guys? Would step up and provide this patch. But first, it needs to be designed, obviously, and we didn't have yet time to do that. So so what we did. So first of all, okay, so we had a situation where we had a blockchain with a key block 501, and then subsequently two blocks which went out, 502 and 503, and these blocks were of two different versions. And when the nodes tried to write these blocks into the database, they got an error because in the database they had the well, of course, the hashes of this of the cat chains, and the other sessions, they basically didn't match. So the same block was the node tried to write the same block, which was already in the database with different hashes, and it failed. On that point, blockchain stopped. So in order to fix this, we basically, what we have done is a soft fork in a way. We truncated the database on all the nodes back to the 501 block, key block, and we restarted blockchain from this block 501 with a special version of software. It was quite hard exercise to do because the truncation of the database is not a simple exercise. Just basically take the database, delete a couple of structures, and that's it. Because not only the database itself is quite complicated, but also the state needed to be truncated. So we had to do quite complicated stuff and also apply patches several times in a row to actually executing this. And we were, our engineers were doing this for the most part of the week, like several engineers from the Node team, TON Labs, together with the validators, who we again would like to thank for the cooperation, a great deal of help. And actually also inside the live session, which we did, there were debugging and input, very important input from validators, which also helped debug some of the scripts. So again, thank you very much for that. In the end, we have successfully truncated the database, and with the help of the validators of the mainnet, the soft fork has been executed on the block 501. And then there also, in order to sync the full nodes for the right, well, kind of chain, not the right chain, but for them not to go and not to take the wrong like blocks for 502, 503, the additional patches had to be made on the nodes themselves. Of course, all of these patches are available. By the way, you can see them all. They are in different branches of the TON Labs repository. But in the end, it went successful. Now, what additional patches we're going to do? So we're going to increase the version of the blockchain, and we're going to make a patch which would check and not validate blocks which are produced by collator with a lesser version than the block and the validator version, which is not a protection against the hacks. So you can still do malicious behavior, but it will provide a protection against, I would say, just applying different versions in arbitrary fashion. So because people did honest mistakes when they in the networks. It wasn't any attack or anything like that. It was just a honest mistake of updating the node from a wrong repository, and I think we should protect from that behavior, at least now, immediately. And so the things which happened to game 1 and game 2 also wouldn't happen in the future, because it will be kind of impossible unless you have a malicious intention. So so the games will first also do this exercise, as well as the validators on the mainnet, and we will all go through this exercise in the next 24 to 48 hours. And this exercise will include applying first a patch which will raise the version of the node, and then it's really a simple patch, 2 places where they're just changing one number, and then there will be a configuration parameter changes to update the blockchain version to this same version, and then there will be additional patch which will patch the software of the node for validator not accepting blocks below this number of the blockchain, and then obviously once that happens, we'll have once the 66% of this will be done, then we will have a network where it's protected by this version control system against, again, non-malicious, just wrong version application. I think that's it. So please watch the announcements on the game, on the games regarding this application of the software. And basically, once we're doing this, and I don't know who is going to, probably Pavel will go into talk about the game, how the game's going to process, but in terms of technicality of this, there will need to be, so the nodes will need to be rebuilt from the patches that we'll provide according to instructions. And so once it's done, well, we have all networks protected against this wrong software versions. So that's it, I think. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Mita. Thank you very much. I hope that answers a lot of questions, but if there are any left, please, again, make sure you post them in YouTube or ask them here. Before we go to Pavel, are there any immediate questions regarding specifically the main network? Right here on the call. Anybody who wants to ask a question, please.
So yeah, maybe I will answer the question that I didn't say. It's when the TON Life will be ready and when governance can be. Yeah. So again, this is a 7 steps algorithm that's going to be performed before it is only on the 7th step. The cluster will be open, so it will take a certain time, maybe today, but we need additional validation cycle. So the expected right now, the expected time of opening is probably tomorrow, sometimes this time, or a little later, like around 18 CET, maybe 17 CET, something like that. But again, it can change because we need a cooperation of validators and that everything else. The reason why we're opening cluster just after all the procedures, it's because we don't want to create additional complications on some people who will just has a scripts which are automatically restake, and these scripts having wrong software just create an additional layer of complexity, which right now we think we want to avoid as much as possible, and it's a simple logistics scenario, nothing else.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the addition. Let's take some questions. Does anybody have any?
So is it a like full problem, and we should like just like protect from full nodes, like who just mistaken by automatically executing bash scripts which were like in their machines already?
No, we're protecting against against everything, against wrong versions of the software executing automated bash scripts or other scripts to actually become a validator, and then we will need to go and find these people, and if they will be more than 33%, we will get a failure of, it's just additional logistics complications, nothing else.
Okay, so breaking the nets would be very, very complicated, but still possible, and only clever guys know how to do it, right?
Oh, no. Okay, the breaking the net, if you talk about malicious attack, then of course malicious attack is possible right now, because we know that there is a bug in the kind of protection mechanisms of the block application validation, and what we are doing now doesn't solve that, but it does solve non-malicious wrong behavior. Because this is behavior that we have witnessed, and all the problems that we have last week were all because of this, because just wrong nodes builds applied to the network. Now, malicious behavior is still possible. If you take 33% on the network and just make a patches you can patch the node, take a wrong version of the software, patch it, apply it, validate with it, and the network will stop again, and that will start the whole exercise again. Of course, a good thing about that, we now know we have all the software built. For this last week, we built the truncation, full truncation software, which can truncate the database. So we can fix that again. It won't take as much time and as many sleepless nights, but we just don't want to do that. So, for the bug itself, it's a design bug in the validator software, and it will take some time to patch that. So it's not happening now. It will take some time, maybe like, I don't know, days, weeks, I don't know, but we will definitely fix this.
Yeah, Mitya, if you have malicious 1/3 of nodes, then you do not need any bug, so you can just stop the network by itself. So the idea is that network stakes should be that high that to get 1/3 of network will be very, very expensive. That's actually the best protection.
But we still, but it doesn't. But it doesn't mean that we don't need to fix this validator.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's very, very, say, unique bug. Let's put it that way. So, and anyway, version control is a good mechanism for limit possibilities to when you do all right to do something wrong. Okay.
All right. Do we
any
have
more questions?
Yeah, is there? Let's get some more questions because I know a lot of people have been asking in the chats. So now's your chance to ask live so we can address it. No? Okay, well then, Pavel, I guess we're moving on to you.
Yeah, just not to make Mitya speak for the whole meeting.
Okay.
So what's the plan? So the plan now looks the following. So it will be announced today. We for 2 games which are now up and running, which is game 0 and game 3. We will technically the second week started, but we didn't apply some load because we would like games to be more or less synchronized. So the plan is that tomorrow we will do some intermediate step, which will require not software update. So for 2 networks which are again live, they will have that step, and this will take some time for them to upgrade. For 2 networks which were stopped, we do not need to repair them because it's game networks, and we will restart them. So for game number 2, where 1 week passed, we will accept results for that week for the purpose of scoring. With some additional comment, which I guess probably Sergey will make, because we figured out some how to say no problem. It's actually quite simple to resolve. So the formula which automatically calculates rating, it has some vulnerability because it gets information only about income and outcome messages from validator from electoral contract. So again, Sergey will speak about it later in more details. So we will accept rating for game 2 for first week, restart it, but first week they will have as according to that rating with some adjustments which Sergey will explain. For game number 1, which actually wasn't able to complete that first week, I think the best decision, we can discuss it right now. We have quite many people now on the call. So the idea is that since people inside one game compete with each other and not with other people in other games, the best way to do it in order not to stop other contests, to say that, okay, we have 3 weeks to go, and first week was anyway kind of training week where everyone was trying to get up to speed. Let's calculate for game 1 results based on 3 weeks results. They will be more significant than the first week. So that's the way how we would like to synchronize all games. And of course, game 2 and game 1, it will be restarted with the new version. So it means that we should not have such problem going forward. Yeah, this is the plan. Any questions?
I'm not sure anyone understood this, but
Why? I think
Okay,
everybody
sorry,
understood
let
it
me-
just fine.
Yeah. Maybe can you explain more about synchronized process?
Yeah, it's not synchronized like minute or second. It's more or less synchronized. So what does it mean? So we need to start 2 games. That's obvious. While we restart them, other games will have task to live update of version of the node. So, which means that once they will do it, that by that time, which will happen tomorrow, 2 games will also be up and running. So it means that week 2 will start for all 4 games, more or less in the same time, which is something like Thursday morning.
So am I right that task to live update their nodes will apply only for game 3 and game 4, and game 1 and game 2 should update their nodes like now, but they're stopped. So this is a different challenges.
Yeah, it will apply for game 0 and game 3, technically speaking. So they have such numbers. Yeah, because for games which stopped, you cannot do it live. They are not live.
Exactly, and that's the difference between challenges.
So there will be a difference between challenges. Nothing wrong with that, I think, because like in the end, we need to test both. So why not to test both? I mean, I also want to say that these games failures, and some of these failures are very, very important. Last week was very important to us, at least technically, to give us a huge amount of feedback. So the games are definitely fulfilling their purpose currently. It's important from the point of view of debugging, and from the point of view of understanding social kind of complexities around all this, decentralized systems. And we had this. It's exactly things we want to have, we want to test, we want to fail in them currently. And I think that having different networks fulfilling different tasks now will also provide us very, very important kind of feedback. Technically, I'm talking about, but also socially, in a way of how this whole thing operates. What are the dynamics where we will fail, where we will kind of succeed? What is the easy task to do? What is the hard task to do? How is coordination working? How to organize that better? And all of these questions, I think, very important feedback.
Yeah, you should understand that each protocol constantly under development, and there are new versions coming in, and we need to understand not only how technically it works, but we also understand how socially it works. So how many people at what time will upgrade their nodes, how it will work. So it's a good experience as well.
Yeah, and will the load testing on the week for will be different? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the question. The technical idea was to start load this week, but again, due to all that nuances with not versions, the idea that
we will start this week, just later.
Yeah.
This week. Yeah.
Say approximately from Thursday, when new software, because it will be quite stupid to knowing there's such a problem to leave to allow 2 games to face the same problem on later stage, because at the moment it's easier to do, and on the later stage was when people spend more time to perform well with the load. It will be harder to explain why you need to restart something, because of course the more significant weeks we would like to pass smoothly without such problem.
Yeah, we also need to test and verify that everything is working according to plan. There are no more accidents like this, and just put it behind and then move to the next phase. So I think it's important.
Are there any more questions? Let's get some more questions in. We've got a lot of participants today on the live call, so anybody who has a question, please ask. Come on, don't be shy. None?
guess everything is perfectly understood.
Everything is excellent. Everything works like a charm. All right.
I
All
think
right.
we have some questions according to the games in our YouTube, on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we do. Actually, Dimitro, or I think that's right, Persian asks, can you please advise about games 1, 2, 3, 4 participation? In other words, is it still possible? But by the way, just a correction. So it's games 0, 1, 2, and 3, just being, technical right now. Is it still possible to participate?
Yeah, great question. Technically, I mean, new participants can have some advantage over people who spend some resources in advance, and technically it's not really fair, but since for game 1 we do not count first week because nothing to count, and actually for the network decentralization, the more really independent validators will come, the better. So which actually will benefit everyone, because the more decentralized and more stable network, the it should be valued more. So in that aspect, I think that adding people into game 1 until we have slots for that, I'm not sure about slots actually. That again, Sergey doing and Roman doing counting all that. If there are slots, then I think it's reasonable to add people.
Well, there you go. I don't want to move to YouTube questions entirely, just anything that's concerning this. There is a question to me directly. You said about key blocks in 501, 502, and 503. Are you talking about from the mainnet, right?
Yeah.
Yes, this is for, we're only talking about mainnet. I mean, the game networks, we kind of understand what happens. The same thing, we're not going to fix this, so we didn't really try it.
And just to get it out of the way, somebody's asking questions about what is it called? Gram free, and he's saying it's not a scam. Yes, it is. It is a scam. So there's your answer. Total scam. All right. All right. If there are no more questions regarding this, let's move on to talking about voting.
Yeah, voting for contest. It's very short explanation. So for that week, we did not have technical possibility to add more votes. And so, as Mitch said, once, hopefully today, cluster with SDK will be synchronized. Tomorrow. Sorry. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow morning, evening.
As I said, probably around 18 or something CAT.
Sorry. Great. Okay. So,
sorry, guys, but cannot compromise the security. Like security is first.
Yeah.
The mainnet operation is more.
So once it will be synchronized and available, we will continue voting, and I hope after that it should be like 2 days when we'll get all the results. I guess everyone, all juries now already ready for that. This is it. So it means that by Friday we should get results.
Yeah, and just so you know, there's a lot of functionality being added. You're going to be able to see feedback. You're going to be able to see a lot of statistics. I mean, I've seen I don't know what you want to call them, blueprints or whatever they're called, right? The specs. It's going to be pretty awesome. It'll be so simple.
Yeah, so we are now adding functionality to look how judges voted, to see feedback, and technically, since there were no place that in previous smart contracts where feedback from judge can be written, probably we'll have to redeploy smart contracts for that voting in order to allow this functionality, because otherwise we'll have to make some special design in front end for those particular first contests, and probably it's not the best solution. So it's probably easier to redeploy smart contracts, which means that those judges which already voted, so we'll have to vote again. But we have a judges meeting, which will follow, by the way, this meeting, so we'll discuss it. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yep, it's going to be cool, guys, and it's going to be very simple. As we always say, just baby steps, right? You can't turn an infant into adult overnight. So we're working very, very diligently to make sure that everything works correctly. But from what I've seen, it's going to be pretty damn cool.
Yes. So the idea going forward that judges should also have some. So judges should be transparent, so everyone should see how judge voted, and if you have reasonable doubts that the judge did bad jobs, and it should affect on judge reputation. And the idea is that judges should be also selected by voting for contests, and judges at some point should be a job actually. So people should understand that their reputation, how they judge, how they comment, will affect their possibility to be elected for the next contest. That's our vision.
Anybody have any questions on that? People participating in this call right now? Any questions on jury voting?
And when all the specs will be published on forum to read them? Because that's not possible just to like prove that okay guys, that's nice, we agree.
Soon. We're trying to get it up as soon as possible.
Which specs?
Right.
Sorry, which specs?
In other words, he's saying when will all this be available for public view?
Not the results, but just like the algorithms on how the reputation is mutated and how will it apply.
I see.
Round.
Yeah, reputation algorithms. That's one. It's also under discussion at the moment. Not sure when it will be written. At some point, of course, it should be discussed. There is very good progress on new platform where forum integrated together with voting, which is again very important to have seamless process, because now it's two different streams right now. Discussing on the forum is one, and voting for polls is another one. And while we work on that new platform, there are also discussion about how this reputation should work. At the moment, there again, so many discussions, so I'm not sure that we are ready to place it to the forum. But I think that in probably we should move there quite fast. So it should be between 1 and 2 weeks when that initial design will be offered for discussion.
Well, thanks. Makes sense. Thank you.
So 1 to 2 weeks, we're trying our best, right? I know we have some, I wouldn't say newcomers, but just some names I haven't seen before on the live call. Of course, we have TON Korea. TON Korea, hi. How are you? Does anybody from TON Korea have a question? Putting you on the spot here.
So regarding the voting, for example, how can will there be a mechanism where a new judge can be added?
Yeah, let's start from the beginning. So first of all, at some point, very soon, we should come to a position that each significant contest with some significant amount of tokens to the distribution should be voted by all token holders. So it means that it should not be limited to initial members. That will happen once SMV contract will be written.
It's written.
Okay, nice to hear. Yeah, it's written despite the fact that we did not announce the result of SMV specification. So it means that after we will select some specification, we will have some contest on implementations. Yeah, the TON Labs will definitely participate in that contest, so it means that we will not vote for this result. But anyway, after it will be implemented and integrated with front end, everybody will be able to vote for proposals. Then the idea, again, we have different views on that. So, for example, Mitya has a little bit different idea how it should work. I personally think that every judge can apply. So, simply saying, my view is that judge can come and say, okay, I'm expert in that and that and that. Here's my identity. By the way, it's voluntary. Not mean that the judge can say, I'm fully transparent. This is my LinkedIn ID. Then here are my GitHub. So I know that very, very well. Please add me to judge list. And since judges will get like, I don't know, 5%, for example, out of amount of tokens to be distributed, it should be quite profitable to be a judge. It actually should be more or less as an
full-time job.
where judge is yes, where judge is not. I mean, doesn't necessarily full-time job. I mean, judge should be well-paid job in order. Yes, in order to be respectful and not to be motivated by some short-term ideas to steal or somehow affect the results of a particular voting. Again, if my version of that governance process will win, then everyone can come and propose him or herself for a judge.
We don't have any differences in that. I don't think so.
Great, I mean, because what I read in that discussion, there was
everyone can join the
groups.
Yeah, but it's
group,
not one judge.
Group, but not individual.
Let's
judge,
discuss that when we publish it.
Yeah,
now it looks awkward.
But anyway, the more we should what the challenge is that we should, from one hand, should be very open and inclusive, but from the other hand, it should be. This system should have some direction. Direction, I mean, not that selected by someone, but it means it should evaluate to something meaningful and something valuable. So, on the assumption that the majority of people have joint vision how to create value, and they can select what is right and what is wrong.
How's that for an answer, Steve?
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I have some other, but related to other topics. Yeah, so I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. No. Yeah, I have a question related to jury members for specific contests, which we have many teams, and their team members may be like pretending that they are not team members and apply for a jury and like just voting for themselves, right? So is it possible to like social hack of the voting and having like some like me, guys like me will vote for Ron's proposals and Ron's applications, but
yeah. It's my turn. Sasha answered before. So yeah. So again, this is the same I think discussion. So what we have right now is the jury system, which initial validators are proposing the juries, and what we'll have in the future should have in the future is some system where it has juries which has reputation and getting paid for that. And so we cannot right now go into this discussion because first of all, they're not yet posted. So let's wait until we everyone can post their proposals and we discuss them openly, because right now it seems awkward because
okay, so
different. There are different ideas how to do that, and we need to discuss these ideas and then come up to some kind of.
So there should be incentives long term And okay,
that's one of the visions. Yeah.
Yes, long-term incentive that if judge do right job and everybody see it, then it will be more highly, he or she will be highly likely selected for the new contestant. That judge will get more tokens. That's long-term incentive.
okay.
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 Any more questions? I think we, again, guys, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, but we have a few people. Konstantinos Soteropoulos, I'm assuming we're.
Hi, Ron.
Yeah.
This is Kostas Zias. I'm speaking from
Hi.
Greece. Nice
Yes,
to
I
meet you.
figured.
Nice to meet all of you.
I guessed that somehow.
Interesting. Anyway, I'm so sorry if I have disturbing noises from the environment because I'm home actually.
That's okay.
On quarantine mode as everybody else. Well, actually, I would like to propose something for Mitya about the issue of stop working blockchain. And actually, I'm very new to this story, so I'm just apologize if I'm making some technical mistake.
Don't apologize. All questions are good questions.
Yeah, do you have any checksum of file size and of not executable software in order to join to the network? Upon join to the network, this is not a version control mechanism. It's just the executable file, which is up and running. In order to join to some neighbor, do you have any check of that? Is there any check about that? First of all. Second, if the procedure of writing to the local ledger supposed to be a component inside the node, the executable file, so it's much better to start thinking about the state of the machine state of the node rather than the version of the node. Because suppose any kind of node which is up and running, validator or collator, no matter, is supposed to be able to get the new blocks on the local chain, on the local database. That is much how to say, it's very essential, because if you stay out of synchronization for a longer period because of mismatching version, then you will have a huge download traffic after that. And you understand what I mean? I hope so.
You will have huge traffic anyway, because this blockchain requires a lot of traffic, as it is very performant. I'm not sure I did get what you're saying. Like the process, the node is, well, what do you mean by executable file? I mean, it's a program which runs. So unless it is running in some kind of closed execution environment or protected execution environment, if you're talking about malicious behavior, then it's probably nothing you can really do. If you talk about the non-malicious behavior, then then we only need to kind of protect from obvious mistakes or honest mistakes, and bugs and stuff like that. Other than that, I don't see why we should go deeper, because if you want maliciously hack the node, and if you have more than 33% of the funds, you can do wrong stuff with the network, unless, if you want. The question then becomes, why would you do that? If you have 33% of the network, why would you, do something wrong to your value of your holdings and that? So maybe I didn't get your really question.
I would like to explain something more. I mean, in case of mismatching of node version, then should be probably just to take a look of the majority of the nodes that are up and running, and based on the majority of the nodes with the same version of node, then only those nodes should be qualified for running consensus. That was the main point.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, so thank you for explaining.
Yeah,
well, you will be out of, basically, the version control will work in a way that your blocks will not be applied. So you can, there will be a message displayed on the node, which says to you that you have a, you have an outdated version. Well, what else can we do? In terms of, if you're talking about, okay, so I didn't switch my node off, I have all these blocks. Well, you're paying for your node. So there is an economical incentive for you to look at these error messages. If you still don't want to do that, there are better ways to kind of DDoS the network, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah, sure. I agree.
like
Yeah, I quite agree.
Yeah, let me add to that. The decision about what version of the node we should use should be voted by all validators, and it means that
75, I think, %.
Yeah, so it means that it should not be done in a way, chaotic way, that algorithm will select which nodes are used, and then also it could be like 50-50. If 50-50, then it will not work anyway. So
yeah, I guess the question was about this 25% that did not vote and then continue to kind of participate or want to participate. But again,
there are ways. There are different ways how to do it. Technically, yeah, you can not allow people with old version to be elected as a validator. That's one of interesting way of thinking about it. But again, so we know for sure that we should have such mechanism, and we will describe it once we will think some better ideas. Then we will again, or you can put on the forum your proposal as well, by the way. So if you have clear way how to avoid such incidents going forward, or if you have ideas how to again improve the version control protection, then please write some proposal, put it on the forum, and we will discuss it there.
Sure, Pavel. Thank you very much.
And just in case, it's just forum.freeton.org. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Konstantinos. Right?
You can just say Kostas. That's much better.
Kostas. Oh, of course, Kostas. Opa. Costa. I love it. All right, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We've got our friends from Canada. Michael, any questions today?
You're mute, unmute, Michael.
Yeah, sorry guys.
That's right.
The question, the discussion we just had in terms of the versioning, is there any way to copy a database when you switch the versions before you're going to validate, right? So just in case if the version control switch or something is not going to happen for any type of reasons, right? So the validator, which is not going to be agreed to go and validate the newer version, right, of the, I don't know, database or new version of the blocks, to continue to participate in the older version. I think that's what the question before, right? Having the two type of traffics going back and forth based on the version of the control and based on the node.
Yeah, I think I already answered that. So yeah, I mean, your node will be able to send the blocks, but they will be rejected. So kind of it's up to you. Then it will display also the message that says, you're on the wrong version, and it will display in the logs the error message, which I just wrote a few hours ago. I don't remember what it was. The block is too old. Yeah, the block is too old. So and then it's up to you. I mean, to switch it off or to update. You don't need to update the database. You just need to update the node code. In this, just apply the patch.
Okay. All right. All right. Any more questions? John, Young Tick. And by the way, John, is it John or is it Young? Can John hear me? I guess not. Your microphone's muted, if anything.
I'm John. The other guy should be Young. We are two of us.
Ah, okay, gotcha. John Young. I you know what? I just assumed. So I'm sorry. We know what assume spells.
Sorry.
And I won't. Hi, John. How are you?
Good, I'm good. And you?
Excellent. I'm glad to see you guys. I had a long conversation with one of your colleagues yesterday from Cameroon, Cedric.
Yeah, must be. Yeah, must be. I have an observation, maybe on behalf of the community. I just wanted to talk about the contests, and I think I talk for many when I say there are some challenges that we meet when we are doing the presentation. So I think what I heard in this meeting is that we are going to have publishing of the results and how they have been achieved. So I think going forward on future contests for the community, we'll be able to know the criteria of how to do proper presentation. If I'm not wrong, maybe when you're publishing the results, the criteria will be published also, so that you can be able to know in future how we should do our presentations.
You mean your submissions, right? So the proper we actually do. We just uploaded our first contest proposal with new ideas that actually came from the jury. Yeah, we're going to have that. Unfortunately, because we're waiting for the network to start running, you can't see it yet. But you can actually go. There's one contest. It's called. Forgive me, Ramon, help me. It's branding. It's the branding contest. It actually has a lot of the new ideas in it.
Okay.
You can actually see it here. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, actually, each contest has criteria, but they are they were quite general. The idea we discussed last week and what Ron with Roman implemented to try to make criteria more, I don't know how to say, detailed, when you have different sub-criteria in order to compare different submissions. Again, it's a great area for experiments. We would not like to make it overcomplicated, because then it will put some burden onto juries. But this probably will work better, because then participants can see in details how their submission is evaluated. Yeah.
John, I tossed a link to the branding contest right in the chat here. That's just one example, but there's a lot more detail in there. So you might want to just use that as a template. Now, again, it depends on the type of contest. If it's a very technical contest, some of those things might not work. But I agree. And yes, as with each new contest and each new comment that we get, we're evolving. Also, the feedback from jurors is monumentally important, and as they're telling us what makes it more difficult for them to spend days sometimes reading submissions. I mean, we've had it would take a juror possibly 3, 4, or 5 days of morning to evening work to read all the submissions at once, which is why Pavel made the very good point that eventually jurors are going to be somebody who will spend a significant amount of time actually be compensated for it through rewards. But at the moment, we do have a lot of new functionality, a lot of new ideas, and you can actually look at that one. That one has more, and the next one's going to have even more. But very good point. Very good point. But that would be a template I would use.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, basically the challenges we are having is we have very good people who are good in coding, and we also have the non-coding community. The people who are coming in and they are not technical. And the challenge you are having is for them to join. They are telling us, "Oh, that is an engineer's playground."
Yes.
They could not be able to join because they think it doesn't belong to them. But I think going forward, it will be more interactive for the non-technical people, and it will make our work easier in bringing in the new members.
Yes, and that's actually something that Cedric from Cameroon had mentioned. That I guess he's interested in developing a round of webinars, if you want to call them that are basically just going to explain to people what, let's just even start with the most basic thing, what the blockchain is, because besides Bitcoin, a lot of people don't understand what that is. So, and we're going to be joining that, by the way. We're going to be a part of that. So information exchange and communication, very important. Yes, I get it. I completely understand.
There will be a wiki page soon, and everyone can participate in that and help us to explain how a blockchain works. And there will be maybe some contest for wiki pages, and help is welcome. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. John, your microphone's off.
Yes. That would be good because at least we need to get more people on board. And we also want the people we are bringing on board to be able to easily bring their friends on board. Yes. To grow the community. So once we make it easier and more user-friendly to the non-technicals, we are going to grow in number.
Yes.
I was actually looking at the data given on the membership in the regions, and I saw the numbers were quite low in such a big magnitude of a project we have. So I was thinking of growing it. We will need now to get the influencers on board, and at least they can interact easily with their friends.
Influencers, that's a key word. Get them on board. Absolutely. And there again, I see a contest where they can get tokens and they can bring people in, and the contest there is make this whole thing easily explainable to the masses for your community. That's it right there.
Yes, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Anybody have any more questions? I think I went through everybody that I had on my list.
Yeah, I do have one question, guys. Okay, sorry. Is there any way, guys, to have a backup before the upgrade for the games? Do you have, like, I don't know, sealed version if anything go wrong? And the second question, can we might going to run some kind of validation or validators, I would say, voting, right? So to ask validators if they really want to go and upgrade, right? So I'm going to test if validators can even vote in their systems. And maybe one of the games not going to be agreed to do the upgrade. I think it's going to be some kind of democracy here.
Well, so about the democracy part, there are no democracy in Crystal games. So, of course, in a way, if you don't want to take rewards, and if significant portion of your network doesn't want to participate in the game, wouldn't be the better choice just to switch off the validators and go away? Why do we need to? There is no value in other decision. If you have a democracy on the network, on chain, and you have a vote because you have tokens, then you have value in different decisions, right? So I don't want this software update and I don't want this software. There is some reason behind that. And since you have tokens, you also, right, your decision has value in both directions, whatever you take, yes or no, right? In the Crystal game, there is no value in the no decision, not upgrade. Like what's the value in that? So so there will be a patch, and you need to apply it. If the network, your whatever network decides not to, it's not reasonable, and we will start the network without the people who does not apply. So did I get your question correctly, Mish? Or
yeah, I think partially because there's a risk. It's not about the actual validation, in the terms of losing or winning the games, right? It's just about the risk to get the node unworkable and start from the scratch, right? Because there's games and there is people, right? So the reason that if you're going even to upgrade the node, it's not going to perform better. It's just to help us or maybe secure, because at any case, when we're going to run the mainnet, we're going to have it anyway. But right now, there are chances. What's your percentage? Technically, the chances that the game 3 or game 2 is going to break what's your assumptions? What's the?
Well, they're quite high, as we saw before. So like, you know, game 2 worked until the last moment. Why did it stop? Like, what was the decision of some people to update their node to the new version? And how do I know? There are some scripts, maybe some DevOps, maybe pulling from particular repository. I have no idea. So apparently the risks are quite high, and we need to kind of make this work for the games, and at least we know that if that happens again, then either we didn't patch something, there's some bug in the patching, whatever, or we have malicious behavior of some big portion of the game participants, which is, again, I have no idea what's the point behind this malicious behavior could be, because there is no value in breaking games. But who knows? But you know, I just don't believe in that. I believe in rational, you know, behavior in this economic games, and so I think that unless there are people who don't know what they do, and that's the biggest problem. Like, or may misunderstand something, or don't have time to understand. I don't know. There are myriads of reasons why they are updating the wrong software, or not updating the right software, or, you know, doing both simultaneously. No idea. So, I mean, we just try to protect against that.
Okay, then the backups, right? Can we take some kind of backups and start from this, not from the scratch, but from some kind of return point in the back if something goes wrong?
If something goes wrong, then nothing will help you. Like you just simply, if something goes wrong with your node, well, you just restart it, resync it, and that's it. There will be time, of course, to do that, right? It's not that we switch to the new node and then this one election cycle will also start the game. Not going to happen like that. As usual, we will give some time for people to upgrade, to, you know, and so on and so forth. So there will be time for you to detect if something goes wrong with your node or with our patches. But we're testing the patches before we apply them, obviously. So,
okay, thank you.
The only differences between our testing and your testing is that we're testing like on several nodes, and you're testing on 100 nodes, which is the difference. And sometimes it does make a difference. For example, in this, when we broke the TON Dev network with a patch, with a config upgrade, which we did test on our network, but because our network was smaller, didn't have 400 participants, and we couldn't. The simulation didn't work. It worked until 100. Over the 100, then it became, you know, broken. We couldn't test that. So yeah, so this can happen, but other than that.
Okay, thank you.
I can ask a question, a little question.
You can ask as many as you want.
Yeah, thanks. If I was a newcomer competitor in Crystal Game, there may be, I think there may be a reason to for me to break it, to win some time and get some like a deeper knowledge in how to automate logic of staking, and win some time to compete with those people who are amounts here in the community, and now.
But alone you cannot break it. Well, if you do break it alone, there is a special price for that. So please talk to me if you succeeded.
Yeah, can I run a validator for my dog and for my children and for my mom? And I have like $2,000 or $3,000, and like my pals. And
it still won't be. Well, it won't be enough. It won't be enough for 33% of the game. So it's a 33 validators, and the 33 validators costs are quite significant. If you can do that, well, again, maybe, but we don't have this situation right now. We don't have this situation. We have a different situation where people just doing honest mistakes. And again, so we need I understand your concern that we needed two conditions. One is there is a party for some reason is holding more than 33% of the network and will also gain from its stopped. If that happens, it's an interesting simulation as well. It's a very interesting simulation as well. But what does it really simulate apart from the basic Nash equilibrium? I'm not sure. So I don't know what to do with that, because if it's, well, okay, so we have a social scenario where 33% of actors has incentive to do something, and they did something. And so we're restarting the network now. Are they happy now? Or you mean that they will restart the network until when they get the right results? That is obviously impossible, because we're not going to play this game. So, just, one time is enough. And if we see, because next time it only can be explained by malicious behavior. So we know that there is a malicious behavior, and there will be a totally different discussion then. But let's hope not arrive to this point.
How much time needed to redesign the node to make the situation like impossible on the main net?
It's not possible to do that. PBFT consensus has theoretical limitations, and these limitations are around a third of the network in classical BFT consensus algorithm. So you cannot go much beyond that. You can provide additional incentives, I think for kind of maybe, but it's not on top. It's already on top of BFT. It's kind of different, and there is nothing to do with the node. Like the node will not, because node is a BFT consensus, a PBFT consensus, so it kind of cannot break this. But you can do something on top. And one of the reasons I'm so much keen on DPool's design, because I think that maybe DPools can provide additional tweaking to on top of the incentivized mechanism for, actually provide more security to the network.
Okay, it makes sense. Thank you.
Because you will have you'll have much more to lose, simply speaking. Like, again, it's like if you compare it with Bitcoin. So we had the situations where there were pools which controlled, and we had this in Ethereum, I think, as well, when the pools are controlled more than 51% of the network, and they could easily break this network, right? So, but the game and the total capital resources that they spend already on the whole this thing, right? It just didn't make sense for them to do this. And we saw a good example of Bitcoin Cash example when someone wanted to break for some particular malicious reasons to break the network, and they couldn't because they didn't have enough support of the token holders. So, like, it works.
It's like trying to achieve the speed of light as your mass increases.
Yeah, but I do agree that the 33 from 51, but 51 is also not the magic number, as you know. It's actually not 51. It's like less than that if you're talking about the proof of work. So yeah, there is a difference. The proof of work, I think, a little bit more, I would say, secure in that respect. And well, again, my hope was to provide a DPool architecture, which would kind of mitigate that. Yeah, exactly. Thanks.
Excellent question. Long answer. Excellent answer. All right. Any more questions? If there are no more questions, I'd like to move to the second phase of Q&A, which is YouTube. And then just to make sure everybody who has write-in, we have a lot of absentees who wrote in through Telegram. We'll be answering their questions just after the YouTube Q&A. So last chance. If you have a question within the call, now's your chance.
I have a question. So how can we understand the staking rewards for validators that are outside of the 100 main validator?
The staking rewards doesn't change. Every validator gets the same amount of rewards, because you get the whole network. We explained that before, I think. So you get the total amount of blocks So you get the total amount of master chain blocks for which you get 1.7 tons reward, and you get the total amount of shard chain blocks for which you have 1 ton reward. It's all going, coming together and then divided to the by all the validators. So there is no difference.
So up to like 1,000 validators. So
yeah, the 1,000
how about like
validators. It's just a network configuration parameter. Yeah, of the maximum validators.
Okay, how about the fisherman validators?
Yeah, the slashing conditions are in discussion, and they will be in discussion for some quite time. It's not easy to do, and there are still some technical. We have some ideas of how we would think of implementing them. We will present that a little later, but after the games, and just no time for that currently. And it's a complicated topic. It's a very, very complicated topic. How it was planned to be realized in original TON specs, that does not satisfy me personally. Maybe someone would say we need to have a discussion about that. I think it's quite naive approach, and I don't think it's going to work effectively.
By naive approach, you mean the one that was originally described?
Yes. And it also was kind of tuned to one the validation cycle of 1 month, and so you could definitely do more things in 1 month, maybe less automatic things than you can do in kind of validation cycle of 1 week, for example, which we think it's the right validation cycle. So if you go to 1 week validation cycle, then you only will have like 2 days or 3 days to apply your results of the fisherman things, and then you need to allow sometimes for validators to vote for this, and also validators voting, which are not automatic, presents another niche kind of input, right? What if validators would just vote all the time for fishermen, reports on some valid blocks produced by some valid validator who just validators don't like? How about that? I mean, I don't know. I don't like P2P org. I will always vote for them to be malicious, and we will get more rewards, and he will be all the time slashed, and we'll have less validators. I mean, this is not that simple if you think about that. So we need to think about better maybe mechanisms.
Yeah, but anyway, we will have to agree any that type of specification by all governments.
Of course,
so it's not like decision. And we actually, I put on the forum contest for designing slashing condition last week. So we have some comment there. We will also get ideas from community. So
but inside your post, I have added this so that the requirement for it to be automatic. So I believe that this need to be automatic. But let's discuss it. I'm not saying.
I think it was in initial.
Yes, that's what I added this to your.
Yeah, you made that comment before I published it. Yeah,
exactly. So I do think it needs to be automatic, and I just said the reasons. But let's discuss that. We have time to discuss that, and still. So let's discuss it on the forum.
Yeah, and we hope to start this contest quite soon. Once again, mainnet will and cluster will be functional. So.
Yeah, I actually tossed a copy of the contest from the forum right into this chat, so you can all have a look. As soon as the main network's up and working, there it is. Okay. Any more questions from within the call? We're running on about what, an hour and 23 minutes. We have to get through YouTube. We have to get through writing questions.
So let's do that, Ron, because I will fall apart soon.
I know. That's okay. All right, but we got to get through them. Questions are questions. We need to answer them. So far, we've been on 100%. So let's do that. All right. First, hello. Do I have to use ton-like? Okay, this is ton-light-client-test1.config.json for using ton sites and ton DNS?
There are no ton sites and ton DNS in main network deployed on the free ton yet. So everything. So you can. We will deploy that on netton dev a little later, because we kind of these agreements were written. The contracts were written agreements. These contracts were written by some contest participants of the Telegram contests. These are, again, fund contracts which are not going to be formally verified. So we need at least to get over them and maybe either to rewrite them or to see if they're simple enough to use them, and so on and so forth. So it's an open question. There is so the answer is we will enable some of that on netton dev, but not kind of very soon, kind of probably maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. And just to be able to play with that. And then we will obviously publish the configs and everything to do that.
Hope that answers your question. Next question. How, or rather, do the patches fix blocks missing errors like -666?
-666. What's wrong with -666? You should love it. I mean, it's just different cut chain sessions. It's okay in most of the time. Just leave it there. You know, don't hate anyone. Give it a hug.
All right. Okay. No more updates on game 1 and 2?
How many updates?
Well, I think a lot of people are saying the updates are mostly on game 0 and 3.
Yeah, 102. You will have to follow the instructions, update your nodes. We'll see how it goes. You know, that's it.
Okay. Is there a simpler explanation on the differences or the differentiation between each game and their goals? I mean, I think that's all written in the actual contest, but I guess gentleman, good old Lord 9 is asking, is there just can you just
no, I think he means between different games, 0, 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. No, nobody is planning these things. You have to understand. I mean, this was not planned. I mean, this restarts and the upgrades. So upgrade was planned, but apart from that, the circumstances of this upgrade, they all these things weren't planned at all. So, like, no, there is no clear definition between the two. Just let's see how it goes.
Will a node for G1 be updated before launch? G1, game 1.
Every node will be updated, yes.
Okay, so Dimitro asks again, so no newcomers or those who join now should get into game 1. What about slots? What about getting the tokens required to participate?
It's not the question to me, but I think you need to write put a form, fill a form. And if you're accepted, you get the tokens. Very simple.
Dimitro, I hope that answers that. So write in the forum.
Not in the forum. In the form. There is
in the form. Sorry. He also asks. He says, "Come on, guys! You should give proper attention to the validators process." I don't know what attention we're not giving it, but
I have no idea. What? How more attention than what? We have only 24 hours a day.
Okay, so just rephrase what he needs to do.
There will be announcements. So the announcements will be clear, and they will explain everything. We just explained the framework. So if something is not understood up until now, you can rewatch the stream, or have or portions of the stream, or have waiting for the instructions that will be provided and posted in the channels.
Okay, gentlemen, Afro Crypto Pesa says, when will the distribution of tokens, when will it be? There is no distribution of, you mean for contest winners, or do you mean there is no just distribution of tokens? You have to win contests to receive tokens. When will the contest winners receive them? Believe me, we're working 16 hours a day trying to get this thing done. We need the main network to work. We need the jury involved. We're talking days, not weeks at this point. I don't want to cut anybody. Days, right? We're talking days. Working on it very hard. Just sit tight. We haven't forgotten about you. Okay, there are questions in Hebrew. I can't do that. By the length of it, I don't even know if it's a question so much as it is a statement. All right, easy, explainable, accessible. Not just easy, explainable, but accessible. Somebody, okay, all right. Can we ask questions in the chat as of now? You could have asked questions an hour and a half ago. So if you have questions, ask them. When will game 1 and 2 start updating their nodes? When will, you got the question, right? When will game 1 and 2? Yeah.
We will get the announcements in the channels, and everything will be there.
So there you go. All right. Test service asks, they asked me, what stage is it now? Test beta 1 or beta 2?
We're in the first phase, and until the validators games will not be over, and certain things will not be fixed, and so on, we will not move to the phase 2.
Okay. All right. If you have more questions, please post them on YouTube. I'm going to move on to questions that were sent to us from absentees.
I mean, that was the whole point of this games, right? So we can move to we can do all this debugging and testing and stuff. So it will allow us to move to the next stage.
Okay. I have a question from Sir Mark Pugner, who I've spent some time communicating with in Telegram. How are you, Mark? Says, am I missing something? Do you know of any plans to duplicate the Telegram Messenger app on the TON blockchain as the backend server? Do you know anything about this idea? No.
Just do it.
Yeah, do it. Go for it. It's all yours, man. Absolutely. Forwarded from Greg Gregory. Gas-based developer incentives and more details, please.
Let's not do that today, please. Just let's. It's not a.
There's your answer, Greg.
It's not a burning question, and we will come back to that. I think it's very important also, and there is definitely like a lot of discussions that will happen around that going forward. I have my ideas. There are other people who has other ideas, and but let's not just do that today. Just.
In other words, Greg, you're shit out of luck. At least for today. Just kidding. In other words, you'll have your answer in just a little bit. Alexei asks, question about leaderboard game 2 week 1. When will we see real staking efficiency, meaning recovered staked instead of staking 1? Question mark. Right now, the last stake is frozen. I suppose it should be returned or should not be taken into account. Does that make sense?
I think it's Pasha. Question to Pasha.
Pasha, Pavel.
Yeah, sorry. Can you repeat, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So, question about the leaderboard of game 2, week 1. When will we see, hold on. When will we see real staking efficiency? In other words, recovered, staked.
Understand.
You got it. Okay.
Yeah. In reality, there was one one member which got back stake from not because of not elected for the next cycle, and that was counted in the formula, and that's what I actually said in the beginning. I thought that Sergey will explain it a little bit, but let me do this. So currently, you can see it on the forum, and you can see the calculation on leaderboard. That formula actually counts all stakes going out to electric contract, and then all stakes plus rewards going back from electric contract. The problem is that there are lags between you send then get back your stake with reward, and for the next round you send to stake and that stake is rejected for some reason, like you proposed too small stake, then this stake goes back and it is counted in the formula for the first period, and this actually creates wrong result. Of course, for the next period, you will not get this stake, and for the next period, staking efficiency rating for that particular person will be significantly below, and that could be treated as kind of punishment. But this is wrong.
The question was actually about a different game file. About game 2 and what happened in game 0.
Yeah, but I think for the game 2, did you see the same story in the game 2?
No. Game
okay.
Let me just add to this story. Game 2 was finished before the end, and it was not possible to calculate the staking efficiency, and we agreed to accept the result as is, without staking efficiency for first week.
Technically that's
Technically we are not able to calculate staking efficiency for game 2, so it will be judged for first week by uptime.
We technically will probably can calculate it, but it will include some manual effort, because you can see it all. It lasts for almost a week, so participants didn't recover stakes, so we probably. But there was nine election cycles, so we can calculate it for 8 election cycles. Sergey, what do you think?
For 8, I'm not sure that it will be possible to collect for the last cycle, but probably for 7 for sure. If it will be decided, but I think it's okay to just take a scope uptime for first week. It was a week, like first week, it contributes only 10%, and it was just a week to get used to the contest. So it's question of to discuss.
I think if we can calculate for 7 days, I think we should, because it's in the game rules. So I think we should, if it's possible, to make an effort.
7
cycles. Yeah, 7 cycles. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be done.
Yeah.
Some.
Yeah.
I also I could comment on game 0 and game 3 results. Basically, we have some distortions in the score for both games. Just because in Matic 2, some of the returns have been allocated to week 1 when they logically belong to week 2. It was either the participants lose the elections or been cutted by the elector contract. So it will be solved by just allocating the return messages. They will be enforced to be allocated the same week as the original stake messages. It will be a manual relocation, so if please report me any return that you consider are currently allocated to an incorrect week or to a wrong week. So basically, it's a clear procedure, just allocate return messages to the same week where the original stack messages been sent.
Thank you, Sergey. Yeah, that should answer that question. Yeah. And probably a few others. And if I repeat a few, forgive me. But okay, moving on. Please comment on the following situation. I'm going to paraphrase this. This comes from Tim. Please comment on the following situation: when the stakes that were sent from the week after and reward or cutoff received to week before, is it cheaters or okay? Comment on the following situation: with stake that was sent from the week after for the reward cutoff, but was it was received after
exactly. It's answered this question that we just be relocating such returns to the next week.
Okay, Tim, hope that answers that. Just wondering when the results of the past contests will be announced, in particular DevOps tools. So look, we mentioned this before. We've sort of answered it. I'll answer it again. So this is priority number 2. Priority number 1 is the network, obviously. Priority number 2 is exactly the results. Believe me, in about 20 minutes, the jury's convening to actually talk about a lot of the things that you're asking. Everybody's waiting. Please just beg you, be patient. We're working on it. It's going to be done. And when it's done, it's going to be so much easier. So just hang in there. That's it. But he's asking in particular DevOps tools. There is no particular. All the contests are going to have results. So, and not just results, feedback, and much more. Question from Renat. Question regarding validator contest. 13 nodes that were used for the initial network setup will be included. Will they be included in their ratings in the leaderboard? And if not, does that mean that the rating points on the leaderboard are wrong?
We switched them off. Well, even if they will be included, like they will.
He says, if you exclude them, how will you do that?
Just switch them off. Oh, you mean exclude? But if they just validate for one day, I mean, they will be in the very end of the list.
Basically, I could add, if they have some uptime and they have very low uptime, it would influence the average amount of rating points. All the 13 validators with very low uptime, they just artificially reduce the average amount of rating points. And in order to exclude them from the calculation of rating points, we just put a threshold, something like more than 1 rating point, including the calculation of average. So to exclude the impact of the initial starting nodes in the beginning. So they will be excluded from all the calculation of the final results.
Okay. So I hope that's clear. Thank you for your question. The next question, I believe we answered most of this. In fact, I believe we answered all of it, but I'm going to ask it because the gentleman, Sergey, asked it. So did a different version of the node's consensus algorithm cause the network to stop? That's point 1. Let's answer that. Is that the reason? Guys?
Yeah, so no problem in consensus algorithm. It's a problem in different versions of algorithm. Of course, yeah, there's some protection should be implemented that we discussed, and design of that protection will be discussed a bit later.
The second part of his question is how will how will the implementation of a planned transition to the new version of network consensus? All right, let me rephrase. Okay, so I guess he's asking, what is the plan transition to the new version of the network consensus algorithm? I think we covered that.
It's not actually transition to consensus algorithm. How to say, it's different in implementation. So consensus algorithm and consensus specification didn't change, but nuance, it's different version of the software or the code itself of implementation. So the plan will be announced hopefully today, as Mitya said. How existing running games will migrate and how they will update. And also it will include that protection that only nodes with some version will be able to participate in consensus and become a validator. That again, all details should be announced.
Which partially answers the question, his last part of the question, which is, when are you planning to rewrite the elector contract?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. Again, as we just said, all important contracts should be formally verified, and we do not have framework for formal verification of FUNC contracts. So, which actually means that some new electric contract written, I think, which should be written on Solidity, it will be formally verified, and the plan. It looks like
not necessarily on Solidity. It can be on C++, also written any other C or whatever higher language.
Yeah. The idea is that technically it is community decision, and I don't know if some team will propose formal verification for FUNC, which technically is not. Then probably we can. So we would like to. Correct me if I'm wrong, we would like to support on each level as many implementations as possible. The problem with some portions is that their for example, formal verification is a very complex process. So then there should be some priorities, probably, again, which community should decide. And I don't know, that's not for me to decide or even to judge which way is the easiest way, but probably, since again a lot of job was done in Solidity in verification of Solidity contracts, and probably it will be easier to verify it in Solidity. But again, that's for me to comment.
Yeah, it's the same, more or less the same Solidity or C++ in terms of formal verification efforts. The low-level languages are more difficult to verify, and also there are no frameworks. Of course, the Solidity is the easiest. Currently, if someone wants to create or to add tools to formal verification of the, assembler or or other low-level languages, you should probably maybe do that. So yeah, that definitely, like, if I think it's a very easy decision if you can have a formally verified contract in 1 month or something like that, or 2 months, versus 6 months. If you can write the contract in 1 week instead of 4 weeks, I don't think it's a quite difficult question to answer, I think, and particularly in the time frame we're now, and the necessity to do so many tasks. I think it's the time is kind of becoming really, really crucial.
Okay. So there are several questions coming from the same gentleman. So can I join the validator game now? We've answered that. If you review the podcast, you'll see the answer to that. It was right around about the middle of our live stream. Then he says, losing one validation cycle due to lost elections is punished, in his opinion, too harshly. I propose that each player for the first such incident accrue a number of signed blocks for the lost cycle by one less than that of the weakest player that participates in the cycle. So that way there's a bonus would apply only once per player for the entire game. Comments? Should I repeat that?
Yes, please.
Repeat it? Okay. He's saying that the loss of one validation cycle due to lost elections is punished too harshly. So he's proposing that each player for each first such incident accrues a number of signed blocks for the lost cycle by one less than the weakest player participating in the cycle. That way, there is a bonus that would apply once per player for the entire game. That's the best. I'm trying to paraphrase what he says.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me.
Do you understand?
Not fully, but let me give a general comment.
Okay.
We would like to make leaderboard as automated as possible. We already see that there are some limitations of that automation because some information is okay. And the reason for that automation is not only just automation; it should be in blockchain history. So the initial idea was, and it's still there, that we can provide some formula and some code, and you can run it, and you can see that exactly in blockchain history, you get the same scores as we showed on the screen, because we don't perceive, because again, this front end is developed by one of initial members, and probably, I mean, you can say, okay, well, that initial members would like to change something and show different wrong numbers. That's why we strongly believe that you can use some code and get from the blockchain the same results. The first problem we found out is that returning stakes, it affects ratings, but this is very rare, and this can be manually corrected. Like we have 2 cases for 2 games of such thing. If we try to modify that formula more, then the more complex logic, the more it requires some, I don't know, manual correction, then it will be less transparent. The idea is that and the idea is, again, that winners should get rewards in the most transparent way as possible. What I can say that important, that probably you don't take low place very personally. The idea is that your rating points will be calculated not based on the place in leaderboard, but based on points you get. And in that respect, if in that respect, people can get more or less equal number of points, despite the fact that they placed in very far from, in terms of number of positions. Okay, is it clear? So it means that if you lose, like, I don't know, 50 places by that missing some elections, it doesn't mean that you miss 2 times, or linear proportion in final rating for that round, because final rating will be based on rating calculated for that period of time, and it could be, and the difference can be smaller in rating compared to difference in places.
Okay, Pavel, thank you. So I'm being told to talk faster because we're already on 2 hours, which means we're having a great podcast and there's a lot of interest. But of course, people have lives, so I understand that. So let's just go real quick through these. We've got a few. Have you thought to make Trello or something similar of convenience? Public task in that sense that everyone knows that work is currently underway on GitHub. Listen, we have Trello. Trello is something, to me, is basically a PR version of CRM. I use it. We use it. I don't think that's a solution. I think the forum is the solution, me personally. Can I become a juror? Who can be a judge? Right now, Pavel, do you want to just quickly answer that? Can I become a juror?
Yeah,
we did answer that extensively, so please rewind, and there is an answer there.
There's an answer there. Okay, in game 0, due to his mistake in choosing the size of the stake, the elections did not go through in the first cycle of week 2. I was kicked out by Zealous Montalcini. This means a clear loss of a very large number of points and dramatically increases the likelihood of losing the whole game. But the error itself seems to be insignificant for the purpose of the game. Identifying validators with good hardware and the skills of its selection and maintenance, I ask you to move the score by 1 cycle for week 2 of game 0. Comments?
It's actually the same problem. Of course, the main idea of this was not playing with stakes, but having people reliable.
I have wait. The stakes are the stakes. You can play the stakes. You need to watch it. It's a part of the game. You want it or not. Of course, again, just if your stake would not be like 10,000, you would not be kicked out, right? So just, do you understand how stake works? If you don't understand, then, and you didn't watch out for this, and yes, it wasn't supposed to happen, but if it happened, I don't know, Serge, do you have another view on that?
Let me add to the answer. We just announced earlier in this live stream that the start of week 2 will be postponed until early Thursday. So this first round for week 2 automatically won't be counted. It answers the question.
There you go, my friend.
But just try to be careful when staking. I see many people say just send in stakes, unread them and returns, and it's all counting as stakes. Even it's unsuccessful stake, it will be counted as your stake, as your additional node in the round or in the week, and it will reduce your score. Do carefully, just check your scripts, and that's all, because
Okay, Sergey, you disappeared there.
Yeah, well, I think we answered that in general.
Okay. Rain says, what is the free ton solution to the basic proof of stake problems such as nothing at stake? What are the possible POS attacks?
Guys, 6 minutes before the end of the stream, not going to answer them.
Just try. Come on. No. Answer.
No, there is, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, the best answer is that the more valuable network will be, the more stakes will be in the network, so the more protected network will be. So nothing at stake relates to network where you can get something for free. And in our case, we distribute tokens for contest winners, which requires some effort, and this is it.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. You only win if you play. Okay. Almost final question. Does the network have a limitation of maximum 100 nodes to operate on the master chain? How can we know that no cartel of nodes is created in regard to decentralization being achieved?
Sorry, I missed that. And I also think Pasha was not right in the answer, but forget about it. Just dismiss it.
Oh, there goes Mita. Here we go.
Nothing at stake is impossible on TON because there are no forks. So please continue. That just doesn't relate to it.
Okay, so does the network have a limitation of a maximum of 100 nodes to operate on the master chain? And how can we know that there is no cartel of nodes being created, especially in regard to this decentralization being achieved?
How do we know there is no cartel of stakes? How do we know there is no cartel of
does the network have a limitation of a maximum of 100 nodes?
Yeah, I think the 100 node limitation is not the problem by itself. What is the problematic is that this 100 nodes are set for the whole period of validation. And I don't personally like that. So I think we can improve on that and make this 100 nodes selectable from the 1,000 node validator in the rounds much shorter than the route of validation cycle, but I never checked this idea in reality. So maybe we should go this direction. I have that's maybe just idea. Other than that, 100 nodes, it's pretty big number for a master chain. And again, this is an economical game. And one of the reasons we want to do depuls is also to mitigate on that. So that to kind of disconnect the layer of node as a validator and the stake as a validator. Okay, so this is kind of the basic idea. So, but yeah, let's discuss it separately. Maybe it's a complicated topic.
Guys, thank you so much for coming again. This was excellent. We had 24 on the call. How many? We'll get the stats in a little bit. Listen, guys, you guys are awesome. We love you to death. Let's make this better and better. And let's exit today with a little bit of the first music that we had on entry, so everybody can go back and think about it. Do it, Mita. Guys, thank you. We'll see you again next Tuesday for Russian speaking. For the Russian speaking community, we'll have a live stream on Wednesday the 8th. At 18, what is it? What time, Roman? At what time on Wednesday?
It depends on.
There'll be an announcement.
Yeah.
There'll be an announcement. Guys, we love you. Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. If you have any leftover questions, you can write them in the Telegram chat and we'll be happy to answer them. Thank you. Love you all. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Cue the music.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Dire Straits. Now there you go. There you go.
Bye.
I have to go, Ron, so it'll be short music this time.
Hi, guys.
Here I am again in this mean old town, and you're so far away from me. And where are you when the sun goes down? You're so far away from me.